The yard didn't look wild to me, it looked alive. After years of fighting dead patches of grass and rising water bills, I decided to try something different. I removed a section of my front lawn and planted native wildflowers and ground cover plants recommended by the county for drought resistance and soil health. Everything was neatly edged, evenly spaced, and professionally installed. For almost a month, nothing happened. Then a violation notice appeared in my mailbox. The HOA claimed my yard was unkempt and violated turf requirements. I was instructed to remove the plants and restore traditional grass within 14 days or face weekly fines. I stood in the driveway reading the notice, feeling that familiar HOA frustration, not anger, just exhaustion. The yard was healthier than it had ever been. Bees, butterflies, even birds had started showing up. And somehow, that was a problem. I emailed the board calmly and explained that the plants were native species approved by the county. I attached the landscaping plan and photos showing clean borders and maintenance. Their response came back short and firm. All front yards must maintain grass coverage for uniformity. That wording didn't sit right with me. So I started reading. The HOA rules mentioned maintain lawns, but never required grass specifically. Then I checked state resources. That's when I found it. A state landscaping law that protected homeowners who installed drought-tolerant or native plants. HOAs could set reasonable appearance standards, but they could not require turf grass exclusively. My yard qualified exactly. I printed the statute and highlighted the key sections. Then I walked the neighborhood. I noticed decorative rock yards, artificial turf, even a cactus garden, none of which matched traditional grass and none of which had violations. Selective enforcement again. I sent another email to the board. Calm. Direct. I cited the state law, attached photos of other non-grass yards and asked how their demand aligned with legal protections. They didn't respond. Instead, I received a fine notice. That's when I decided to attend the HOA meeting. When my turn came, I didn't talk about environmental trends or personal preference. I kept it factual. I explained the installation, showed photos, and handed out copies of the statute. Then I asked one simple question. Can the board explain how requiring grass-only lawns complies with state law? The room went quiet. One board member asked if the plants were permanent. Another asked whether the yard was maintained regularly. A neighbor raised her hand and said she'd wanted to remove her grass for years but was afraid of fines. The conversation shifted. After a brief recess, the board announced they were withdrawing my violation and canceling all fines. They also stated the HOA would update its landscaping rules to allow native and drought-tolerant yards, provided they were maintained and edged. 2 weeks later, an email confirmed the policy change. My yard stayed exactly as it was. Now, when I step outside in the morning and hear bees working through the flowers, I feel a quiet sense of satisfaction. Not because I beat the HOA, but because I stood firm, stayed calm, and protected something that made sense. Sometimes progress doesn't look uniform. Sometimes it just looks healthy.